Halo Reach MCC PC finally has its multiplayer flight test going live. The flight is currently live as of the time of this recording, and it's very exciting to finally get some PvP Halo Reach multiplayer games in on PC. Everyone's firing up their $5,000 gaming PCs, turning on their 144Hz monitors, and ready to drop some gaming elitism on these console peasants. With the community pouring hours into this game and leaving their feedback for 343, is this game finally ready for release? But first, allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Rehab. Hey, how are you? Welcome to the home of everyone's favorite Halo content. What in rehabilitation? I know, it's hard to believe, but it's true. Scientific data has been compiled, and Rehab Media is by and large the world's favorite Halo content creator. We put out new Halo content every Sunday. So Spartan charge that like button, teabag that subscribe button, and sit back as we go through the current state of Halo Reach MCC PC and discuss whether or not this game is ready for release. So being a priority spokesperson for the Halo community, I was obviously granted a code for the MCC PC flight tests. Sure, the first PC flight test code sent to me must have gotten lost in the mail, but 343 made sure they got me the code this time around. I put in a few hours and honestly, I'm not that impressed. The first thing I noticed was that aiming just didn't feel right. Being an elite gamer, this obviously is not my own fault, but the fault of the game. Aiming feels like I'm playing on a 70-inch flat screen in my parents' theater room, and that is unacceptable for the PC master race population. At this rate, I might as well put some batteries in my controller and carry my Xbox down to the local McDonald's for their free Wi-Fi. All jokes aside, the PC community that we're trying to introduce to Halo will not be very accepting of a game with input delay. Luckily, players have made this issue very apparent to 343, and I can't imagine it won't be fixed prior to the full release. I don't think 343 will shoot themselves in the foot a second time on MCC's release, because input delay to PC players is absolutely a game-breaking issue. After a few games and noticing the input delay with keyboard and mouse, I gravitated back to my natural state as a console pleb. Unfortunately, I still felt that aiming was weird. It's much harder to tell with a controller being a less accurate means of aiming, but I still felt like there was an input delay when using the controller. I would assume that the input delay with both keyboard and mouse and controller are related problems, so hopefully they will both be fixed together. The next issue I noticed on the game were the PC controls. The default controls seemed a little wonky and simply not well thought out. I mean, using right click to zoom doesn't seem like a terrible idea, but for the love of Cortana, how do I double zoom with the sniper? Has anyone figured this out? 'Cause I sure haven't. I don't know if I'm just stupid, but I cannot figure out a way to make this toggle zoom instead of hold to zoom. So hopefully that's an easy fix for 343 to add before release of this game, or I'll have to change my zoom button. I've also heard people talking about the switch weapon button. In traditional PC shooters, you can either scroll wheel to switch weapons, or use 1 for primary, 2 for secondary. However, Reach PC only uses 1 as a switch weapon button, the same way Y would work on an Xbox controller. And by default, it does not let you use scroll wheel to switch weapons. 2 by default is switch grenade. I see how this would throw off traditional PC players. However, I personally don't see it as a huge issue since Halo isn't a game that allows more than 2 weapons. However, I did have to go in and change weapon swap to scroll wheel. Unfortunately, I could only make change weapon either scroll up or scroll down. So I couldn't switch weapon by scrolling in either direction, which in my opinion is a little dumb. Another big issue in my opinion is the optimization of Halo Reach MCC PC. I am not sure if this is specifically my rig or the game, but from my experience in PC gaming, there are some games that are better optimized than others. For example, games that really butter my biscuit, run buttery smooth, are Apex Legends and Destiny 2. I ran through the Destiny 2 story and put hundreds of hours into Apex Legends on PC, and those games run flawless on my computer. That is what I expect from PC games when running a 144Hz monitor and a $500 RTX 2070. But other games just don't seem to have the same results. Black Ops 4 is an example of this. I put hundreds of hours into that game on PC, and even when getting 120 frames per second, the game just really never felt that great for some reason. Now with Modern Warfare having just come out, I purchased the game on Xbox. But my noble PC friend that I play with tells me that Modern Warfare runs flawless on his PC as well, whereas he didn't have a great experience with Black Ops 4 either. My point is that some PC games are optimized better than others, and in my experience thus far, Halo Reach MCC PC can be optimized better. I have absolutely no idea what causes this, or what optimizing the game better would entail, but all I can provide is that the game runs more like Black Ops 4 to me than Apex Legends. I tried playing on my brother's PC as well, since he has a newer build than me, and it still just doesn't feel that great. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm playing at a steady 144 FPS on a 144Hz monitor, and I think the game just needs to be better optimized. Obviously at this time, I cannot do a side-by-side comparison of Xbox vs PC Halo Reach, but if I could, I would imagine that the PC version is still a much better experience even with optimization issues. However, in these situations, I usually just decide to stick with the Xbox version. If a game doesn't run well enough to give you the complete PC experience, I will give up any benefit that the PC version would give me and just go back to what I know, Xbox. This obviously is assuming the input lag issue is fixed, because I can tell you what, I'm not playing a game with input lag, especially if the Xbox version doesn't have that issue. Who knows if it'll carry over to Xbox, but the Xbox flight test I participated in didn't seem to have any input lag as far as I'm concerned. Lastly, I would like to mention a couple crashing issues I ran into. When trying to record gameplay with OBS, I did have a couple problems where the game would completely freeze and I would have to close it with the task manager. I don't know if that's my punishment for being a lowly console kid using OBS instead of Nvidia Shadowplay, but it did make it harder to get gameplay for this video. I also had one fatal error pop up when I wasn't recording, but that was few and far between in the grand scheme of things. So overall, is Halo Reach MCC PC ready for release? I would say no. I think we are really close, but the game still needs polish. The two glaring issues to me are the input lag and optimization. The optimization is what it is. Maybe they can fix it, maybe they can't. But the input lag cannot be an issue at launch, or it will deter a huge part of the PC community. I feel like we've been hearing for months now that we are close to release, and I still think that we are. But in my personal opinion, it still isn't good enough. I feel like there is a big problem with this game where everyone in the Halo community knows we need this to do well. So the overall sentiment is take as long as you need to get the game right. After all, we cannot have another MCC launch like the first one. But on the other hand, we are running out of time. MCC PC is supposed to introduce the PC community to Halo, and I assume it's supposed to lure people into Infinite once that comes out. But we are a year away from Infinite, maybe even sooner with holiday 2020 as the declared release date. I'm a little afraid that the entire MCC package won't be done for PC before Infinite's release. And if that happens, I kinda feel like what's the point? I don't know, that's just kinda how I feel about it. But how do you guys feel? Are you still anxiously waiting for MCC PC? Or are you over it? It's been like 8 months since MCC PC was announced and still no set release date. I definitely think at least some people have lost interest. So thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in our next video. Later.